Hi, and welcome to this live reading from Sea of Demons by Heidi Stark, and this is presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Chapter 1, Skylar. You can't kill me, he sneers, his thin-lipped mouth contorted in an ugly scowl. I don't know where Devon got her gorgeous full lips from, but it certainly wasn't from his side of the gene pool. She'd never forgive you. She'd have nothing to do with you. The tall, burly man has gone from having a strong posture and a calm demeanor to cowering and pale in a matter of minutes. I guess that's what happens when 4 bigger, younger, and stronger guys come to kill you. We're inside an industrial warehouse abandoned partway through construction. The man sits in a basic metal chair to one side of the large space, shackled to an old metal radiator, with a large chain wrapped firmly around both his wrists. Stacks of lumber and bags of cement line the room, and coils of hose and electrical wire protrude from the walls. Luckily for us, there's no shortage of places like this around here when we need to take someone somewhere to teach them a lesson. Despite the man's visible fear, he won't stop talking and trying to convince us to change our minds. He seems deluded and full of bravado despite the helplessness of his situation and the fact that what he's saying couldn't be further from the truth. Who? Dom growls, his mouth clenched and his eyes narrowed. We all know who the man is referring to, but we want to hear him say it. You know who I'm talking about, he sputters, spittle flying from one corner of his downturned mouth and landing on the floor about a foot away from Dom. Say your name, Dom demands again, his eyes flashing as he kicks at a nearby sawhorse as if to punctuate his point. Devon, you idiot. The man's flinty eyes narrow into tiny slits as he glares back at Dom. But his derision doesn't hide his fear. His loud voice is just noise, at odds with his ashen face and the pulse straining through his corded neck. My daughter, who else would I be talking about? Oh, she's quite aware of what we're here to do, and she's actually fine with it. Zeke's voice is calm and level like usual, despite the reason we're here. You can't be serious. I'm her father. She'd be devastated if I wasn't around. His gaze betrays him, his eyes dropping to the floor as he realizes there's no way his daughter is coming to his rescue after everything he's done. His skin is developing a nervous sheen, similar to the dusty sheets of plastic and tarps that have been placed over tins of paint and the other construction supplies scattered across the room. You're deluded, buddy. Rake shakes his head, causing his dark curls to bounce against his shoulders. An eerie calmness replaces his normally jovial tone. You can call us whatever you want, but I can assure you she knows why we're here, and she's given us her blessing. In fact, she's going to be here soon to tell you herself. Oh, you can't be serious. The man's tone and posture both slump with resignation, but he's still trying to act surprised by this turn of events. He attempts to readjust his wrists and winces as the large chain pinches against them. Oh, we're dead serious, I growl, impatient at having to listen to this guy's voice as he continues to pretend he's deserving of any form of leniency. He almost let her one evil man sell her to some other morally corrupt people. Your own daughter, sold by you to pay off some debt that you couldn't afford. Bile rises in my throat and blood rushes to my temples as I say the words out loud. The worst part is you didn't even really try to stop it from happening. You just ran away and fled the island, leaving her here to suffer because inside, you're just a sad little man who can't keep your shit together. He's despicable, and I've never felt more okay about killing someone. Not that I usually give it much thought these days. Despite the futility of his situation, I guess my last comments must have crossed some line in his mind, and he leaps from his chair and lunges toward me. The radiator groans and the large chain clinking against it and holding him in place. I snicker as Rake extends one of his long muscular arms and plunks him back into the chair with ease. Devon's dad is no weakling, and judging by his scars, he's been in plenty of fights over the years. But he's no match for the 4 of us or the chain that restrains him. We're not only younger and stronger than he is, but we also have something else going for us. All 4 of us are completely in love with his daughter. See, here's the thing, you pitiful fuck. I growl, my rage beginning to take over at the thought of what he did to her. At what almost happened to her because of him. Where we differ is that we'd do absolutely anything for Devon. She means absolutely everything to us, and that includes going after anyone who has ever hurt her. I dropped my voice even lower, my gaze locked on his. And you hurt her more deeply than anybody else really ever could. You damn near destroyed her, you vile fuck. The man lowers his eyes as if he's ashamed, but only for a second. I'm sure he's justified his actions in his mind, and we're about to hear his deluded rationale. Look, I knew she'd get out of it, okay? She always manages her way out of tough situations. He shrugs, but the motion is almost as weak as his pathetic excuses. She's a strong girl, and she's clearly fine now. My fists clench involuntarily, and I barely resist the urge to rock him right in the face. I know I'm going to get my chance soon, and I have to be patient. I hope the other guys keep their cool for now as well. We need to make this despicable creature hurt before we let him slip away into the comfortable blanket of eternal darkness. And we need to give Devon the opportunity to say goodbye. Do you know what it took to get her set free, you dumb fuck? Zeke's eyes are cold as ice, and I can tell that even though it takes a lot to get past his even-keeled shell, we're riding on the edge of that line. There's a fire burning inside him just like there is in the rest of us, and it's getting ready to detonate. Financial cost, not to mention the impact this has had on our business. All four of us would do it again in a second for Devon. We'd do absolutely anything for her, but no, she couldn't get out of the situation by herself, and you didn't even know we existed when you made your selfish and forgivable choice to put her at risk. And the toll it's taken on her has been devastating. No, you don't get to take some type of warped credit here. She got into it because of you, and out of it despite you. He pauses and takes a deep breath, running a hand through his closely cropped dark hair. I can tell he's really trying not to lose it, which is usually not a problem for Zeke. Unless, like now, it involves someone trying to hurt someone he loves. So don't say you knew she would get out of it herself, because she nearly didn't, and that would have been on you. He pauses, collecting himself once again, and his tone grows as cold as his gaze. And now, you're going to pay. Devon's pitiful use for a father can see his plea for freedom still hasn't succeeded, and he grows paler still. An almost imperceptible tremble takes over his body as if he's finally realizing we aren't just there to scare him, that we're about to end his sad excuse for a life. Good. I want him to feel every part of this, including the anticipation of what's about to happen. He deserves for this to be more slow and painful than we're going to make it. But we don't have forever. So this will have to do.